Hello guys, welcome to another lesson on Byte Code. And just as I promised, I said in this lesson we're talking about the HTML forms. So what are HTML forms? HTML forms are used to collect user input and submit them to a server for processing. So the basic structure involved in an HTML form is the input, the label, an input, and a submit button. Sometimes has a reset button as well, just to clear out everything on it. So let's head over to VS Code and illustrate. All right, um, VS Code, where are you? There you are. Nice. So to start creating a form, we start by opening the form or typing the form tag. So form, hit enter and open that. Okay, for nice indentation. So the form automatically comes with an action attribute, and the action attribute specifies the server-side script to process the form data. So the action specifies where we are sending our forms to. Is it to a PHP server side? Is it to a Java server side? Or is it to another server side? Any server side you are using, you indicate that on the action. And it also has another attribute called the method. So the method is the form or the process that we are using to send our information from the forms. So we have a get method, we have a post method as well. So post, get, we also have a put method and a delete method. So this side basically is for server side computing, and it's not our level yet. We'll get there very soon. All right. So inside our form, we should have a label or a title that describes what form we are filling or what form the user is filling. So let's give it a header. And inside the header, give it an H1 and name this personal information. So personal information, save that. So outside our header, we start by creating our form. So from the slide, I said it has a label and an input and a submit button or a reset button. So first with a label. So we create a label. Label 4. I'm taking the first name of the user. So first underscore name. And this 4 attributes over here is also a server side. And what does it do? So when the details of our user is being sent to the server for processing, it automatically arrange where it should put every detail. So this for is what is responsible for doing that. So when you create a server side, we create a portion on the server and we name that just like the way we have named our for over here. So we name it first underscore name on our server side. And when we are developing our codes over here, we name the for just like we have it on the server, so that when the information is being sent to the server, it will know where exactly to put each and every information. All right. So for, and our label comes in first name. Nice. So after the label, we create a space for the user to be able to input or to key in his or her data. And to do that, we start by creating the next on the slide, which is input. So input here, input, enter. All right. Now take a look at the attributes over here. So input here comes with a different or numerous attributes. So an input can have an attribute type to be text, radio, checkbox, area, a text area, select, option, button, numerous types of type attribute. Okay, so to begin with, we are using the first and default one, which is the text box, the text here. So text gives us a nice rectangular box for our user to be able to key in data. So from the website, I've been able to key in some data here. Okay, so let me add a colon here just to make it nice. Right. So let me copy this and do same for last name. Change this one to last underscore name. Change this to last name and save. Nice. Notice how HTML plays our next input on the same line, but sometimes our forms that we fill at the banks and also at different places doesn't look something like this. Sometimes you see the next input or the next text area to write on the next line. So how do I put my label and my last name and its input on the next line? So to do that, in our previous lesson, I taught you guys how you can add a break line sequence to HTML. So we do that by adding the break line to the last input we created. So the break line comes here, line 16, we add a break line, break, save, and it pushes our input and its label to the next line. All right, let's talk about another set of input type, which is the radio. So let's create a header for that header, and each one, let's say gender. Okay, so how many genders do we have? Two, just a male and a female. Two genders, and you can either be a male or a female. So let's create a radio button to make our user to be able to select just a male or a female. So how do you do that? We start by creating a label as usual, label for gender. So when our data is being sent to our server side, it places this information on the gender side on the server. So gender, the first is male, S. Now we create its input, and this time around we are not requesting the user to write his or her gender, but then we are requesting the user to pinpoint, to be able to select his or her gender. So we change the text over here to a radio. So radio, nice. Then we get a nice circle which you can select and deselect. Okay, so let me refresh. All right, so we create another one for the next gender. Let me just copy this, paste, and edit this one out. Female. Okay, so let's test this to see if it works. Okay, male is selected. Now let's switch over to female, and it has selected a female in addition. So how do we fix this error? So we can fix this error by giving both inputs a unique name. So to do that, we add a name attribute. Name for what? Name for gender. Copy the same name and paste it over here. So what we have done is that we have created a name, a unique name for both inputs. So this means this input and this input are under the same criteria. They are under the same grouping. So when one has been selected, the other one should be made impossible to select. So, or when one has been selected, the other one should not be selected in addition. So let's illustrate this on our website to see if it works. So we select this, and nice, it switches to the other one. So you can't select both at the same time. You can only select one at a time. Okay, let's move to another type of input, which is a checkbox, and before that, we create a header for choose your colors. All right. So under choose your colors header, we create a label, create a label for colors. We have green. Let me copy this. Okay, let me create the input before I copy that. So input, change this to checkbox. Nice. So our checkbox comes in. Now let me copy this and paste it quite a number of times. So one, two, three. Okay. One, two, three, four is okay. No, add the last one. Five. So green, blue, yellow, magenta, and aqua. Nice. So green, blue, yellow, magenta, and aqua. So as for checkbox allows a user to be able to select more than one value. So even if you add a name attribute to each checkbox, the HTML code will allow us to choose more than one value. So it's not necessary to add a name value or a name attribute to every checkbox, but then it will be necessary to add a for value to it so that when the data is being collected to the server side, it will know where to put each of the data. Nice. So I can select yellow, green, blue, yellow, magenta, and aqua. So those are my favorite colors, or those are my colors that I have chosen. Okay, let me refresh the page. All right. And last, we have the submit button. So input, and we can do this button value. Okay, let me just do this button and see. Let's see what happens. Let me add a line break here. Okay, so this is our button over here, but it has no value. So the value attribute here allows us to key in data that will be reflected on our button. So I can say submit, and the submit appears over here. So submit button. This is one type, or this is one way of creating a submit button. Another way to do that is by creating, no, another way to do that is by changing this rather to submit this. So submit, it does the submission. Okay, so submit here does submission of our data on our forms to a server when we have given the criteria for the action and the method. Also, we can have a reset. Reset. Nice. So reset. Let's see what happens. Okay. So when I press on the reset button, it clears everything. When I click on reset, clears everything off the page. So that's the reset button. So basically that's all for HTML forms. You can research more on the type of HTML form. So the attribute type, you can research more. We have also, let me type that over here. I have also text area. Text area text area as a type of attribute. We have the select as a type. So select here. We have option also as a type. We have upload a file. I think that's upload or something. Upload, yeah, as a type. We have search also as a type. We even have date. So date, yes, date. Let's see what happens to that one. So this is our date. It gives us a calendar over here. So we have a date which gives us a calendar. So we can click on the calendar to open and select today's date or maybe into the future 15th. Where's 15th? Yeah. Then it automatically fills out. Whereas you can also go back in time. So somewhere in 2017, November 15th, and it does that for us. All right. So that's all on HTML forms for today. And to wrap it all up, let's do something on adding images. Okay. Adding images. And save this out. All right. So adding images is very, very simple. So to do that, we type our image tag, which is img. So img provides us with two sets of attributes. The first one is the source, and the second is the alternative. So let me explain what each attribute means. So source is self-explanatory. So source here is trying to tell us where are we taking our image from, or where are we getting our image from. And the alt here, or the alternative here, is for an instance when the image doesn't load, what should be displayed. So normally what we put over here is a description of our image. So to add an image to the website, you need to keep the image in a folder inside the folder that holds our files. So inside the folder that holds our file, you need to keep the image inside that folder. So let's do that and see. Let me move my image, my file, my folder rather, sorry, from the second screen to this screen. Okay, so open the folder and we create another folder over here. So new, right click and new folder. Then we name this folder images. Images. Nice. So we open this folder and you can search for any image you have on your PC and store them there. So download. Okay. So I think let me go with this three images. Control C to copy them. Okay, and paste them in our image folder. Nice. And one healthy coding practice you should do is try to change your image name to something that you can easily remember. Imagine we are okay, I'll explain why I said that. Let's go back to our code and see why I said that. Why are you here? Nice. So image, so back to our code. So source, where are we taking our image from? We're taking it from a folder named images. So we start by typing the folder's name, images, followed by a forward slash. Now this is where the problem is. We have our images in the folder but with weird names. We have photo 1 2024 11th, a date and something something to it. But how do I know that this image, or let's say I want to project the image with a man behind the laptop, how do I know it's image 1, image 2, image 3, or even image 4? I don't know that by chance. unless I project the image and see whether it's that one. And if it's not that one, I have to go back and change the image name. So to do that, a healthy practice we do is inside your folder, try to rename each images over there. So I'll name this man underscore behind. I'll name the second one just laptop, and I'll name the last one. I'll name this hands underscore on. Okay, so that's it. So if you have any images on your computer, you can just create a folder, keep the images in your in the folder, inside the folder that contains our files, and you can go ahead to use the folder, to use the images in the code. So I want to project the image with the man first, so man behind. Nice, I save that. Now the image appears inside the alt. I can type a description of the image I was trying to project, or I want to project. So a man behind a computer. So this right here doesn't show on our website because it's an alternative for a possibility when our image doesn't load. So when our image doesn't load, this is what this description is what you are going to see. Let me see if I can create an instance for that. Nice. So there we go. So the image failed to load. Now our alternative here has been displayed. So you could see that the programmer was trying to load a picture of a man behind a computer. So when the image finally pops up, then the alternative there will vanish. There you go. Okay. Also, you can take an image from the website. So you copy the image URL and post it. You paste it here rather, not post, you paste it here. So you paste it in the source and it works. Okay. So let me add another image. Let me just copy this. Control C, Control V, Control V. Nice. Let me change the name. I have hands on and I have laptop. Okay. Now our images are being uploaded and you could see our second image is very, very big. Let me increase its full potential. Okay. So you could see the image here is big. How do I resize every image over here? So I can resize the images by using the width and height attributes. So add a width attribute to this image, a width of 100, 500, no, 200 pixel. Okay, 200 pixel is too small. Let me say 500. Let me do it 500 pixel. 500 pixel. Okay, it's okay. And the second one to a width of 500 pixel. Nice. So that is how to resize our image. So we can have image height as well. So an attribute that resizes the height of an image. All right, so that is all for images. So this series ends our beginner friendly introduction to HTML and CSS. In our next series, we are going to start working on real life projects. With just the little information we have, we are going to able to expand our knowledge to build real life projects. So I'll see you guys in the next series. Alright guys, so these are my social media platforms. So on GitHub, it's Fortran Byte. On Facebook, it's Byte. and on Instagram it's underscore Kojobyte. So GitHub will be used to upload the files we use for our works. So I'm going to be posting all the files we use in our works. In case you want my code, want to compare my code to your code or to make corrections, I'm going to be uploading the files on GitHub. Aside that, if you want a one-on-one interaction, question and answers, or to follow up on my post, you can follow me or check my pages on Facebook and Instagram. You can also send any questions you have concerning web development to my Instagram page. Okay, see you in the next video.